VOICE is a grant-making facility that was initiated by the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs and is implemented by Oxfam Novib and HEVOS. It works in 10 countries in Asia and Africa. And we work with rights holders groups in all their diversity as they take forward their own agendas on diversity, equality and inclusion. All the grants that we gave out as part of VOICE formally ended on 30th June 2024, and the final closeout of the program is going to happen within December 2024. So we are at the very last chapter, and this chapter has been about thinking through strategies by which we can leave the grantee partners with whom we have been working over the last 8 years in a good place in terms of the shared knowledge that we have built, the strategies that we have supported them to implement, to kind of consolidate all of that information and share it back so that they can continue the onward journey with or without VOICE. What is really special about the VOICE program is that, the setup of it was why it was initiated in 2016 was to enable the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs to deliver on their own commitment to the sustainable development goals and the agenda to leave no one behind. And why they thought it was important is that, rights holder groups often face multiple and intersecting forms of discrimination, and they are themselves excluded from human rights and development funding. And so it was quite an interesting program in the way it was conceptualized as a fund for innovation and inclusion to specifically facilitate those rights holders groups who have been left out so far.
We had structured this conversation really to be participant-led, and the whole idea was to help spark conversation that would help each participant in the room really to be able to bring out the experiences from the different works that they're doing, and also knowledge that they've been able to co-create or generate from the works that they've been doing to share across and really learn from each other. And so day one, we spent a lot of time really guiding participants to be able to reflect, to take a pause and reflect and really think about what their work really entails, what are some of the wins, how does the context really influence or impact the work they've been doing, and what are some of the things that have not really worked for them. And day two, we were helping these participants really to be able to transition into reflection on how to build a relationship with different stakeholders, and basically looking at the right holders, the duty bearers, and even civil society and the private sector space. So the whole idea was really to help them to be able to reflect in terms of the relationship that they've been able to build, some of the challenges in putting those relationships together, and ways also actually to be able to sustain those relationships moving forward. But most importantly, the interesting part was that this conversation was actually wrapping up with helping them to be able to think about the next step, because the whole idea and understanding is that VOICE is a program that is coming to an end. They've been engaging for the last 4 years. So what next for them with all the conversation that took place for the last 2 days? So the exciting part for me was really to be able to guide them through that important reflection and really see how they can appreciate and integrate this into their work moving forward.
I appreciate the enormous space that VOICE has given us, big on linking and learning. That was a first for me, linking together with people, being able to just hear. While in Kenya we feel that we have made milestones in this and that, appreciating that in another space there could be people struggling, and therefore what can we learn from each other? What are those practices that we can borrow, adapt, adopt to be able to move forward our journey together in the space of nothing for us without us?
From this project, we've also learned about scorecarding, the community scorecard, which is what we are even using for other projects right now. For child labor now, we're using community scorecard. We're using different mapping exercises that we've gained as lessons we've gained in this project. And this is really, really a touching one, we need to make sure that the data we get are used to inform decisions that will better the lives, make more people get access to health, education, and other social services.
I think for me, the session that has really touched me has been the storytelling. Earlier today, I was meeting the person that visualized my story, and I was in tears because I could not believe how well they've been able to tell the story. There was a part in the story where they actually did really put up the rainbows and talked about the fact that you have the right to love who you want to love. And I've been thinking about how do we use stories more in telling, in our advocacy and work, and considering that we are a community that is often silenced or othered by the community, it's important for us to be able to tell our stories. So this, in its essence, is making me think about how then do I go home and empower my community to be able to tell more stories.
One of the lessons that has come to me is the realization, and yes, I knew, but now it's more amplified. The times are changing. The space is getting smaller by day. I painted a picture in my mind of we're in this home and there is a lion out there. We need to run in there and be safe. So a lot of internal reflection as a person, as an organization, and harnessing the strength that we have built over time. That for me has been really bolded.
Right holders, this is the right time for you to assume the driver's seat. It's no longer really about being at the periphery, being on the table and not really becoming part of the agenda. And so with the discussion that have been going on in terms of creating spaces and amplifying voices of the right holders, any other person either working with right holders or the right holder, I think this is a moment for you to be able to assume driver's seat. And assuming that is really becoming intentional about how you engage with different spaces, owning different products that come out of those conversations, and even the agenda in terms of really pushing the work forward. So for me, if that can happen, I think we are on a different ball game, and I think the aspect of inclusion will be reality.